Video. Is now my volume on? Are we just now hearing? Okay. I just turned my volume on. I've never had to turn the microphone on. Can you hear me now? This is so silly. I've been chatting for a whole 2 minutes. Okay. Now it's working. Okay, good. Okay. So I mentioned at the very beginning that I said, good Thursday morning. It's the last Thursday of March. And I said, no, it's the last Thursday of February. And I realized at that moment, I'm a week early for my class. But that's okay. Maybe we'll do 2 with this paper pumpkin because it is so awesome. So today I will upstyle my paper pumpkin kit, and I'm going to show you the 2 alternative projects that I sent into Stampin' Up! That they shared earlier this week on their paper pumpkin site, their social media. Hello, Karen. Hello, Marlene. Now you can hear me. Yeah, I can't believe you now have to turn this microphone on. That's really weird. Hello, Kayleen and Kat and anybody else here. So yes, you're not crazy, Kayleen. I am. So for those of you who don't know, I've been out of town. I arrived home late last night thinking, oh, I've got to do that paper pumpkin class. And I've missed so much in the last month that I'm like, I got to do it. I got to get back on track. And I'm a whole week early. It's a little funny. Hello, Terry, Marcia, Kathleen. Good to have you here. Okay, so let's get on with it. Enough jibber jabber, you know, and let's stamp. Let's stamp together. So let me flip my camera around and let's have a good time. Let's see here. Just flip that. There we are. There's our paper pumpkin kit. So this is the one we're going to work with. And let's just dive right in and start working. Now, I mentioned that we would do the projects that I sent to Stampin' Up! And I have prototypes. This is my prototype. The one I sent in was a little bit different. So at least I do have something to work with, as my mind has been a little mushy. As some of you may know of late, it's been a tad bit mushy lately. But let's begin. Let's start. We're going to start with one of the card bases from the kit here. I'm just trying to figure out where I put them. I kind of line things up so that I can easily grab them. Here they are. I just had them covered up. So we're going to start with this card base here. And I'm also going to be using, for this project, I'm going to be using the Countryside Corners dies. All right. So let's just grab them. And we're going to use a couple of them here. I'm not going to use, that's the biggest one. And that's just a little too big for what I want to do. So I'm actually going to use the second to largest die. That's going to be our first cut. And then I'm also going to use the third to the largest die. That will be our second cut. So those are the dies I'm going to reach out from this the set of dies. But with this card here, let's just give this card base a quick chop in half. Hello, Tara. Good to have you here. All right, so I mentioned earlier we are going to make the 2 alternatives that I sent in to Stampin' Up! And I'm a week early, so I'm going to do these 2 today. And next week, I will have a few more alternatives to share with you, and they will be fun as well. So, and that's because this kit is awesome, and I have 3 of them. Yes, that's right, folks. I've had 3 of these kits because it's that great. Okay, so first thing we're going to do, we've cut that in half. Now, this is the number 2. So I mentioned the largest was too big. Yes, I can get it out of there, but it's just too big for what we want to do. So I'm going to take this die here and I'm going to frame the bunnies. Yes, I'm going to end up chopping off some of his rear end, but that's okay. Your brain will fill it in. And I'm going to just take a little bit of repositionable tape. I'm using the Post-it tape here so that I can make sure that I've got this in just the right position. So I'm looking at their faces and I'm framing their faces and I'm bringing this down pretty low. So I'm just going to kind of put a little tape on that. I call them little seat belts. And I'm going to run this through my Stampin' Cut and Boss machine. It's right here to the side of me. So So I will say, usually when I do an Upstyle class, I have all my pieces like pre-die cut and I'm ready to go, but not today. All right, so there's my first cut. Now, I'm not going to use this piece today, but to me, this is a good piece of this light petal pink that they have here. This would make like a great, you know, if you wanted to stamp a greeting, and, you know, I'm going to save that. So, in fact, I save all of my scraps for Paper Pumpkin until I'm done creating with the kit, then I toss them all. That way I have some matching colors and whatnot. Okay, so that's our first die cut, our first cut. The next thing we're gonna need is a petal pink card base. So this is just your standard 8.5 by 5.5 with a score line at 4 1/4. Okay, so Kayleen says, I'm so excited to see how to make this. Okay, good. I'm glad you're here with me. And keep those comments coming. It makes it fun. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do is actually I'm going to glue the gingham half of this card to the right side of my card base. So let's grab some glue here. Now, I haven't been home for over a month, and so my glue is definitely going to be clogged here. I'm so sorry that you have to watch me do that every time, but there we go. It's a little drier here in Idaho, and they clog up pretty quick. Let's see, come on, glue. I just gotta get it moving. There we go. Okay, that's gonna be fun for today. Having our glue a little bit thick and sticky. Okay, so we're just adding this to the right side. Just like so. Perfect. Now I'm going to take the exact same die. So, and it doesn't matter what dies you use. Maybe you use the old stitched rectangles or whatnot. You just need something that you can cut a frame with. And whatever you cut this bunny with, you want to cut the exact same thing on this next piece, okay? And I just realized I glued too much together. I shouldn't have glued the center of this, but that's okay. So what you're gonna wanna do is just glue around the edges so that these two pieces will fall out separately. Okay, but remember those two pieces of repositionable tape here. I am eyeballing this, folks. I'm not, you know, being precise. I'm going to bring in a little more light and see if I can't kill some of that shadow. Killed a little bit of it. It's a little better. Okay, so I'm kind of using the gingham as a guide here, but I'm just going to take these two pieces, tape this on. Cool. Like that. Run this through the Stampin' Cut Emboss machine. Yes, you can get through those two pieces of cardstock at the same time with one die, because this die is, it's a simple die. You know, it's not too, you know, it doesn't have a lot of curves and a lot of shapes. It doesn't have stitching. So you can get through both of those thicknesses. So here we go. Kayleen, you're funny. It's better for us. Do you mean that I've made a goof and I'm going a week early here? Well, yeah, because now we can get more projects done before Easter, if you're making these for Easter or something like that. Okay, so see how that just cut right through? And we'll just take off our tape. I really like this Post-it tape. I use it quite a bit. Okay. Oh, the light is better. Okay, good. I'm glad. All right, so now we can fold this. Oh, great. I have no bone folder here. Lovely. Okay, well, I'm just going to use the blade of my scissor. You know, there's always something that will work, right? Okay, so remember I wanted these to fall. I wanted to not put glue in the center here. Okay, so there's mistake number one. We should count. We should make like, you know, place odds how many they're going to be. But I have another one laying around here because I do want this separate for another card for the future. But I do need to have what I want to have is, so this will be for a future card. This one here, we want this little inset piece. We're going to be using that, okay? So our next step is going to be, because this piece is going to line the back of that one, okay? We're going to use one of the slimline cards here. And so we're going to open this up and we're just going to cut it right in half. And actually, we're not going to cut it just right in half. We're going to use half of it. We are going to cut it the width of this die right here. And this is the number 3 die of the Countryside Corners. So if you look at the one we didn't use, that's the biggest. This is the one we used to cut our aperture and our bunnies. Now I'm taking the number 3. And so I need to know this width here, and this width is, let's see here. It is 2 3/8. So I am going to slice this at 2 3/8, but I'm going to come just inside that 2 3/8 inch measurement, okay? So there's 2 3/8. I'm going to move it in just like a 16th, okay? So I want 2 3/8. And so I'm just bringing my die in here to make sure that I am cutting the right length, or width rather. So here's my piece of this cute floral. Now I'm going to take my die here and we're going to do some partial die cutting. So I'm going to slip this piece in to where, and I might need to trim it just a little bit more. Yep, I'm going to need to trim it just a little bit more because I can't get it in here. It's kind of crooked and you don't want it crooked. So we're going to partial die cut. That's why we're slipping the piece of paper on top and through. So let me do just a little bit more slicing of, removing just a little bit more. I should have done just a little bit more than I had intended. I always have to trim off more, but I almost think that that's better than cutting too much off. Okay, let me just take this one. Now I'm going to see if I can slip this through more. Yes, it goes through. This time it's going through, and now my piece is actually coming through straight. It's not kicking off to the side or anything, okay? Because we do want it straight. And I am going to use, let's see, where did I put them? I've already lost them. They're on the die here. I'm going to use one of these just so that I can be sure to keep it straight, because if it goes off, then it's just going to be kind of funky weird, if you know what I mean. Okay, so we'll just put the little tape right there. So can you see how my die is coming up and through? So now when I run it through, in fact, I'm going to run it through and I'm going to come this way and then back out. I'm not going to go all the way across because I don't want to scar this paper. Even though I've got a brand new plate in, I don't want to scar my paper. So just cut this end. So I'm going to put this through first. I'm going in to cut that end and backing right out. So in other words, I went in and then I pulled it right back out. And there you get this nice long tag here. This is what I call resize your dies and customize to what you want to have. And that's what I wanted to have. Okay, so I'm going to take this off. And we're going to use this die again. We're going to do the same thing we just did, only this time we're going to do it with one of the envelopes here. And these are one of the envelopes from the kit. And I actually think, do I have some left over? It's like, do I have enough? Nope, I only have a flap. So it looks like I'm going to need to break one down. So let me just tidy up the ship here before I really screw things up. So when I break these down, what I like to do to get the maximum use out of this piece of envelope, which I call them designer series envelopes, so that we can have our own little fun designer pieces of paper, is I take teeny little slices off the ends of or the sides of the envelopes, right? So that now I can open this up and I have full access to this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to save this and I'm going to save this because to me, these are great colors of paper that we don't have in the catalog. What it is probably, I don't know if this started out as the green and they've just made it a lot lighter, or if it was a yellow and they've made it lighter, but it's a fun piece of paper. So I'm gonna keep that. And now this piece here, I want this piece to be the same width as this one. So let's see, what did this actually end up being? So it's just a little bit more than 2 1/4. So let me turn it this way. There's 2 1/4, and I'm gonna go just a little hairline more. So now I have this nice long piece of green. And I'm going to do the same thing. We're gonna slip the die over so that we have a, we're gonna cut the tag end. Let's get that piece of tape here. Okay, and we'll run this through. Again, I'm just gonna run it in and pull it back out. Okay. Do any of you ever resize your dies and make them longer or smaller? There's that. Just curious. Yes, that design does go all the way down through the bottom of the envelope. So it doesn't come up the front flap, but it does go all the way in. I think they need to do that because if they didn't, it would show through the paper, and sometimes you don't want to see all of that, through the envelope. Hey, Tanya is here. Haven't seen Tanya, physically seen Tanya in a long time. Good to have you here. So Julie Petrie, cool, you do it? Great. I would love to know if you have any tricks, what makes it easier for you, or what you've done that you go, hey, I'm smarter than the dies, sort of thing. Okay, so now we are close to having all of our elements here. What I do need now is I need a piece of paper that can go to the inside of my card. So this is just a 1/4 sheet of white. Tanya, she says, I've missed you in your classes. Tanya, are you in Elk Grove? I think you're in Elk Grove. But I hope you're enjoying it. I see your little grandbaby and I think it's totally adorable. And you have one coming. That's super cool. Terry, you love the envelopes for the extra DSP. I so totally agree with you. It makes it, it just gives us a few options that we don't have in our repertoire or our stash, our library of papers. And it's just kind of fun to have a new one here and there. Okay, so this is a piece of basic white and I'm going to trim it down. It's a 1/4 sheet, but I'm going to trim it down to be 4 by 5 1/4. There it is, and I have that ready. And so now, for the base and the structure of this card, I have all of my pieces ready. So let's just kind of do a few things here and there. I'm gonna bring this piece right here, our white, and this is just, I'm gonna put a piece of scratch paper under me, keep my work surface tidy. And I'm gonna give this piece of white just a little bit of character. I have my Daffodil Delight blends. I have them in light and dark. And I am going to do, oh, look at that blend. That's from doing a lot of flicking. I'm gonna take my blend and I'm going to just kind of bang it. And sometimes if it's a new blend, you can get it to splatter, but this one's fairly dry. So I was trying to do the bang. You can kind of smack your blend with this one's really dry. It's like dead. So we'll use this one. Sometimes you can take these. Yeah, see, I'm getting some good splatter and I'm trying to preserve the tip and not, see how this one's been flicked so many times, the tip is destroyed by just kind of hitting it with, something heavy like your bone folder, or these scissors are heavy. It gives it enough weight that hopefully, I don't know if you can see that, but it is there. It is there. So flick with your markers instead of your blends and you don't ruin the tips. So Kayleen, does it keep the tip of the marker, the Stampin' Write marker? Does that one hold up better than the blend tip? If you do use those, you just have to wait a couple seconds longer for that ink to dry because it doesn't have the alcohol in it. But I did want to give my paper just a little bit of character, and maybe I'll do that same thing with a little bit of crumb cake here as well. So here's my, and I'm gonna rotate it this time. Maybe you can see these. But I just didn't want plain white paper. I wanted it to have a little bit of depth, a little bit of character. And so I don't think you can see it. Plus you're seeing some shadows from other things. But trust me, it has a little bit more interest. In the photos, you can see the splatter. Okay, so this is actually, let's just kind of put some pieces together here to see what we're gonna do. So the first thing we're going to do is we are going to glue, let's see, how did I do this? So these two pieces do go together. However, this piece slips through and I'm like, okay, hold on, what did I do? Let's go to my prototype. Now this is finished off a little bit different than my original. Okay, so this is we're making the one that I sent in to Stampin' Up. I just need to remember exactly what I did. So this is going on the back. We are going to, let me hold on just a second. I want to see what I actually sent in since I don't have that here. So bear with me just a second. I have to send a PDF into Stampin' Up, and I have that PDF open here since I don't have the original. Okay, so I did do it this way. So we are going to glue the petal pink to the back of our bunnies here. Okay. And again with this terrible glue. It's like if I can get past this clump. Don't look at my messy gluing. It's all good. No one's gonna see it. Use the cap of the marker to flick on the brush side. Works great. Do it all the time. Preserves your blends. That's a good idea, Kayleen, because I do use my blends a lot and I'm destroying them. I'm totally destroying them. Okay, so there's my bunny, which is just a little bit crooked here. That's okay. There's my bunny. And what I'm going to do is we're going to bring in our piece of, this is, oh shoot. I think I was supposed to, well, we'll just do it all on this side. Okay, so we're going to line our tag as well, but I'm only gonna glue a portion of it. I'm only gonna glue the one end, okay? Because I'm gonna be cutting some of this gingham portion off. We don't want all of that thickness going into the card because then it's gonna be tricky to fold. Okay. Thank you for bearing with me today and remembering how I did this. Okay, so now this piece is going to, we're gonna kind of set this piece, and I know these ends aren't together, not to worry, but we're gonna set it through the card to where it lines up right on this edge, okay? So that's what I'm looking for. And I'm gonna put dimensionals on this portion here. So we have dimensionals from the Paper Pumpkin Kit. Okay, and so I've just got this kind of, I'm eyeballing center here, and these are where my dimensionals are gonna go. Okay, there and there. Okay. All right, so let me just smash those on tight. And I've wiggled out of place just a little bit, but line it back up. Now bring this piece in, and this piece is gonna set just right down inside. Just line that up with your window, okay? Just like that. We have that ready. Now what we want to do is, while we have this in place, okay, we're gonna turn this over. And, oh, I wish I had a pen. I don't have a pen, but maybe what I'll do is just kind of, I feel like this isn't straight. It's not. So make sure it's straight. I guess I could use my repositionable tape here, which I'm gonna do. I'm gonna use my repositionable tape to just kind of hold these in place for just a second. And now I can just kind of take this piece and I'm gonna fold this piece back. We're gonna be cutting that away. And then I am going to take my ruler, and you could do this on your trimmer too, but this just was a little bit easier. And I'm going to score this piece. This is the the card piece with the flowers on it. So I've scored that piece only, okay? And now I can kind of take this out for now. Slip it out. And while I can get there, and I don't have this everything all stuck together, I'm gonna trim where I have that fold line, I'm gonna trim that off. So I'm going to just bring, I kind of have to lift some things up. I know it's kind of a condubulated way of doing things, but we'll make it. So I'm just gonna put that fold line right there, lift this up a little bit. I don't know if this is exactly how I did it the first time, but I know I wanted the lining because I wanted both papers because the paper wasn't double-sided. So, all right, we're gonna hope we're in the right spot. If not, it's good, it's handmade. Yeah, no, we're perfect. Okay, and the reason I wanted to trim that out is because when we go to put this, let me take my tape off. When we go to put this on the card, it's gonna reach here. I didn't want all of that bulk in there, if you know what I mean, okay? So, let me bring my paper in here. And this one. Now, you have a choice here. You could, you can leave it on that edge there, which that's what we're prepared to do, but you could also reach your paper all the way in and line it up. So it's up to you what you want to do. What I'm gonna do to make things easier, I'm going to partially glue my white down. I'm just gonna leave a little opening so that I can get my tab in there. So I've left that a little open. So we'll line this up just like we would normally do, right? Okay. And then I'm going to, let's see. I don't want to be getting glue all over the place. So we're going to put a little glue right in here. You know, you can kind of do these however you like. Let's see. Trying to remember how I did this. So sorry, folks, but you're getting the idea. Maybe I'll make a couple more and have it a more smooth transition. Okay, so we kind of know where it needs to go. So I'm gonna slip this in here, but before I kind of like anchor anything down, I'm gonna trim some off because it's too long. So we'll just take some of this off. Now I've just got glue on my scissors, but that's okay. I use, I don't know about you guys, but I use a lot of rubbing alcohol to clean some of my Stampin' supplies, if you know what I mean. Oh, goodness gracious, I need to trim more off. I glued too close. Okay, here we go. Third time's a charm, right? Yes, I agree, Kayleen. How long is that tag? It was the entire length of the card, and then I'm just trimming off what I don't need, okay? But before this sets up, I need to make sure that I'm in the window the right way. Let's take this tape off as well. I am pretty sure that this isn't how I put it together the first time, and that I was more smart about how I was doing things. But you get the idea, right? Is make an opening, then make your focal point the same shape as your opening, and reach it through the window. Okay, all right. It was rough getting here, but guess what? This is how it was when I sent it in. The green flowers, and then we had the gingham on the back here, okay? And so now I can kind of come in here and glue this down. Now that we know how long everything is, we'll just secure this so it's not flapping around. Awesome, okay. Now, to me, the fun part comes here, and that is the decorating and everything. So we are going to use, for our card here, for the front, what's fun is we've used the bunnies here. And so we're just gonna accent them with a few things. The first thing we're gonna accent with is the twine from the kit for sure. And I'm also going to, let's grab this twine. This is like crumb cake. It's like the Essentials baking twine, baker's twine. So it's not linen thread. This is more cotton-like. So we are going to tie a bow, just a normal old bow. Okay. Get this one going. A little long on that side. We'll trim the ends. Cool. So there's our bow. And then I also want one of the daffodil flowers that punch out, because what I want to do is, see how we cut this one off here? I want to finish that one, and I'm going to add that back in. So I'm going to put that on with just a partial dimensional here. So I'm just going to kind of chop one of these side pieces so it's not quite so big. Okay, so this one is, so I'm just kind of finishing that flower off, and I'm aligning the best I can so that that's coming through like so, and it kind of finishes it. All right, it just finishes that off, and it gives me a place to add my glue dot, and my, with a glue dot, I'm going to add my my twine here. So just a little glue dot on the knot, and I'm going to take that off, and I'm going to tuck this. It's going to finish off our tag end, but it's also going to just kind of tuck under the flower. So everything kind of has a little bit of, they all kind of go together, if you know what I mean. Little composition work right there. So that's how I finished that off. For sure. Let me set those aside. Okay, so that's almost the front. We need to add a little bit more to the front here. And what I want to do is we're going to do, so we're going to turn to the dies that coordinate for this quarter. So we have a pack of those dies, and I unpacked them. Here they are. They are called In the Love of Spring dies. And there are 4 dies in here. I know you've seen them. And the 4 dies coordinate for the quarter. And you have this one that's kind of a nice, it's perfect for all of the kits. It's very kind of universal. Then you have the word love. This one matched our kit last month. But again, totally usable on anything. Then you have a fun leaf. I think this one is intended to coordinate nicely with the kit next month. And then this daffodil here is designed to coordinate with this month's kit. It coordinates with the images. It does not match. You are not trying to die cut the daffodils out. All right. They're companion pieces. So there is that. Okay. So we're going to use all of these except the word love. We easily could incorporate it, but we're going to do some die cutting. The first die cut I want to do is I want to cut this from white. So just a piece of basic white, and I have one ready to go, and I am going to stamp it with, what did I stamp it with? I think I stamped it with Happy Easter. Let me see. I'm going to look back at my PDF. I stamped it with the springtime. So springtime greetings. So we're going to stamp it with the ink spot that came in the kit, a little early espresso. Kind of fun. I love the petal pink with the early espresso. It's such a classic color combination for springtime. Okay, just inking this all up. And we're going to add this right to our tag here. Okay, cute. And I have one more. I've cut this again, and I've cut some of the cardstock that we put through here. So I had some scrap of that. So I have one of these on hand. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to add my greeting right here to my card. And I'm actually gonna glue my greeting. You know, a lot of times you see me do a lot of dimensionals, but I'm gonna glue this one. And I'm gonna clean up the tip of my glue here. It's driving me nuts. Probably you driving nuts, you're going, fix the bottom of your glue. That's terrible looking. So I'm gonna do just a little bit of glue up and around here. Okay, and then this is going to just set right on the edge here. Okay, I'm gonna let that kind of set up and dry for just a second before I let go. And I'm gonna grab another one of the daffodils from the kit here, and I'm gonna add it right in here to just kind of balance that out. And this one I am gonna put on with a dimensional, but I need to be careful about how I position that dimensional because I don't want it, when this opens, I don't want it to show from the back. So just be aware. So maybe what I'll do is add my dimensional there and see if I can fully cover it. And I don't think I can. Let's see. Yep, I can. Okay, good. So it doesn't show from the front or the back. But now, speaking of the back, this feels a little flimsy to me. So I did add this one here. So this one is sandwiched on the back, and I'm just gonna glue that. Okay, gives a little bit more structure to the tag that's kind of, you know, just hanging out in the opening here of my card. It provides a little structure to that, and we're covering the back of our mechanics. It makes it just a little bit tidier in appearance. Finish every little section off, right? And so on this, I'm gonna do another daffodil. And so just pick one, another shape that you haven't used so far. So maybe I'll just do this one here. So I've just got a little bit of, you know, flower action on the back here, and you can use a dimensional or keep it flat. It's up to you. And it actually looks like I did a couple daffodils in back here, or rather on the inside. I did a couple like that. So, you know, just making sure that they're not gonna show through the front. You wanna just kind of keep your composition so that you just be aware of it. If you don't care, don't worry about it. But if you do, and you wanna kind of keep it tidy, I'm gonna keep them down a little lower where I know they're gonna hide and not show, because I don't want those white sides to show from the back or from the front when this is closed. Hopefully all of that garble made sense. I agree, Kayleen, the greetings in this set are so cute. Okay, so I gotta wiggle my daffodil over just a little bit, but I'm gonna let it ride for now. All right, so now this is how our card goes. So it's a, you know, kind of a peek through. I don't remember, what did I actually call this card? Somebody had a name for it. Peek through flap card. So here it's peeking through, and then here is my flap, right? So, me too, Kayleen. What will the next dies be for the next 3 months? But we still have this month and next month, so we got a little time. Okay, so now we have a little bit more decor that I want to happen inside here. I want to put a greeting in here. And so for my greeting, I'm going to use one of the banners from the kit, that one right there. And this one we're going to stamp with the other greeting. So we did springtime greetings, and then I'll do Happy Easter on the inside. You could leave it blank. You could pick another greeting from another Paper Pumpkin stamp set or any other stamps in your stash. But I'm going to use what's in the kit here, Happy Easter. And so, again, with the early espresso, right there. Super. Yeah, this is so cute. I love the handwritten font on this. And this is going to go on. And, you know, you can do it to where you completely cover it, or if you want to have just a little bit of it peeking through, you decide. You do you. I'm going to put this on with dimensionals though. And the last spot we're going to decorate here is going to be this inside flap here. Okay, so let's see. Do I want it to peek through, or to hide. I think this time I'm gonna hide it. My original, it's peeking through. Okay, there's that. Now let's decorate this. And so for this section here, we're going to do a little die cutting, and we're gonna do some fussy cutting as well. And so here's what we're going to use a bunny. That's gonna come in here. We are going to use one of the flowers. Okay, and I'm also going to die cut this leaf here, and I'm going to die cut this leaf. You could die cut it from soft sea foam. You could die cut it from whatever color you have on hand. Granny apple green. I happen to have some old olive here. I'm going to die cut this with old olive. So I'm just going to kind of chop this paper off. I've been doing this lately. Rather than putting the die on and running this whole thing through, I've been cutting them off so that this portion of the paper doesn't get scarred. Kathleen's questioning, do you buy kit dies separately? Yes, at the beginning of the quarter, and these are still available, these dies you can purchase as a Paper Pumpkin subscriber. So the number, Kathleen, let me give the number to you. And yes, I don't remember what the cost is on these. Are they $12? Anyhow, the number is 164396. And so what Kayleen's talking about, Kathleen, is in the next quarter. So for April, May, and June, there will be a new set of dies that will coordinate with the next 3 months kits. So these are for January, February, and March. And whatever else you want to use, because they're so universal. I mean, come on, it's a die, a label, the word love, and a leaf. I mean, these are like useful for everything. Great question, Kathleen. Okay, so I have my leaf. Got that. And I'm going to cut the daffodil as well. Only this time, I'm going to look through my stash here and see if I have a lighter piece of paper, like a lighter green, or maybe even one of the, let me use this envelope flap here. So this is a lighter green right here. So I'm just gonna take a little piece of this, just cut this, and we'll get, because I wanted a couple shades of green in here. Okay, here we go. We'll run this one through as well. And the last thing we're going to cut, we're not going to die cut. We're actually going to cut with either scissors or with a trimmer, a paper trimmer, or you can use fringe scissors, or you can use your shredder, your paper shredder for your, that you have in your office. Okay, so here are my pieces. But I'm going to do just a little bit more cutting here. And I was mentioning you could use different things. So you can use a pair of scissors. You can use a pair of fringe scissors. Stampin' Up! Sold these at one time. I believe these are the Martha Stewart version. But I'm using these. But you can also just use plain old scissors. I would use a long blade scissor. Or you can use your paper shredder. And we're going to make our custom, our very own Easter grass. Because you can't have an Easter card or an Easter project without Easter grass. I mean, it's just, you have to, right? So here's what I want you to do, is take your tissue paper that was in your kit and open it up. And I have folded it in half lengthwise, okay? And then I'm going to fold it in half again, just like so. And I'm going to fold it one more time to make it nice and short. This way you can come in here and just take your scissors and slice little strips of paper like so, right? And it's not going to take much, folks. It's not like you're going to be doing this for hours. So there's some Easter grass, or you can take your fringe scissors and just chop it right off. And then you kind of have to pull these out, all right? So make your own Easter grass. And we're going to use some Easter grass on this project and the next project for sure. dropped my die. So I've got my little Easter grass here. Okay. Okay, cool. Kayleen says she did it through her trimmer. Sometimes if your trimmer blade isn't sharp, you might hang up. It might kind of get stuck a little bit. So just be aware. You might want to have a piece of paper behind it or a really sharp blade. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do, so we're going to take a piece of our Easter grass here, and I'm just kind of wadding it up. Okay, so we're going to be using that. And I think I'm going to take just a little bit of Stampin' Seal Plus, or this is Stampin' Seal. I don't always have luck with Seal, but that's the one I grabbed. I prefer Seal Plus, but I'm going to do just a little bit right there so that I can kind of just take my Easter grass here and stick it down. We'll kind of tame this and direct it where we want it to go in a bit. Okay, just kind of keeping it out here. We just need it to hold down for a second, because we can also hold it down with our rabbit. Okay, I think I want another piece in here. So I'm just going to kind of lay this across, and we can cut the grass here in a minute. Okay, now, thanks, Kayleen. It is a cute idea. And, you know, I've made Easter grass and fringe paper and things. I like to use the tissue for different things. To crinkle it and then open it up and lay it flat on some paper is really kind of cool. Okay, so my little Easter bunny and chick are going to go there. And now my leaf, this is the one we die cut. This one, I'm going to tuck it behind the grass and just kind of reach it in there. And then I'll do the same thing with my daffodil. Again, I'm going to reach it under the grass. I want that grass to show. So there's my daffodil. And now I'm going to put this daffodil over that one with a dimensional, if I can find where I put them. Put them all the way across the counter. It's like, why did I put them so far away when I set them down? Okay. So here's my daffodil in here as well. And, you know, just kind of line it up. Okay, it's a little out of scale, but I kind of like it. You know, now just kind of trim your Easter grass. And if you want to scrunch it up, you can. Give it a little character. This piece is a little long, so maybe we'll tuck it behind here. Perfect. See, and you can kind of just give it a little squish and play. And then we'll shake the rest of that out. Move this to the side, and there you have it. We are almost done. But if you know me very well, you know we're going to add a little wink of Stella. And the kit comes with these great little white enamel dots. Let's see if I can find them. Here's a pack from another kit. I know I have an open piece of them somewhere. Here we go. So I'm going to put these in several places now. Let me find my take your pick tool. I'm going to add some to this composition here. So let's just add a large. And you can put them wherever, you know, wherever you like. I think I'm just going to kind of do one here. And I don't ever do them the same too often. And I'll do a second one. And now I'll kind of balance it with a small over here. So we'll just kind of, so there are those. Okay. And you guys, you have to do this part. This is the cutest part. Get your Wink of Stella going, but not over your good paper. Let's see, this is my scratch paper. Okay, get Wink of Stella going. You have to, oh, look, I splattered all over. Oh, well, that's okay. I like Wink of Stella. But color certain areas like the nose, kind of the face and the beak. Add some stuff here and there, since we got a little splatter action going. But definitely the inside of the ears, super, super cute to do that. And so as this is shut here, this is what's really cute, you guys, is coming in, getting his nose, getting this nose, the inside of this ear. It just elevates this card just a little bit. I mean, we're already going for this peek through flap stuff. Let's get these daffodils, right? The little cups on those. Let's add a few more gems to the front. And again, add them where you like. Okay, so let's see here. What am I gonna do? Let's do like a large and a small, and then maybe one down over here, wherever you want. Just have some fun. But there's the peek through flap card. We took the long way to get there, but we got there. Basically, what I want you to remember for this card is that whatever die you use to cut this opening, your focal point, use that same die, okay? And then create a flap so that you can pass it right through the card there. Okay, so there's the peek through, pass through card flap. I don't remember. The peek through flap card. There it is, peek through flap card. So this is close to how I sent it into Stampin' Up. This one's a little different in that I didn't do the tag here, and I used a different end on this, and I thought, why not just use all dies from one set of dies rather than bringing in a border die? So that's really kind of the difference there. Okay, so that's the first one. Now, let's move along to the next project that I did, and I don't have a full one here because I didn't have enough pieces, because when I'm making something for Stampin' Up, I'll just give you a little behind the scenes, is I ruin stuff. And so it's like, oh, that wasn't good. And so I ran out of pieces and I couldn't finish my version of this card, my prototype. But here is the box card. This one's a little bit different. I kind of changed up the one I sent to them. But let's get this going and let me show you how to make this. It's really not a difficult project. It will take us a little while, but it's not hard. But if you've made a card in a box before, this concept will be pretty easy for you. But what I wanted to do was make a card in a box with this box. It just was kind of like, it was calling out to me, make a card in a box. So here's what we're gonna do. We are going to use one of the boxes from the kit. We have a couple cuts here we're going to make. So get your trimmers. And the first cuts we're going to do, we are gonna remove all of the white flaps that go on the bottom. Those are coming off, okay? Now, don't throw these flaps away, because to me, these are the right color white. If you want to stamp a greeting, this white matches the kit perfectly, right? Whereas basic white is a little creamier than the white that comes in Paper Pumpkin kits. So keep that. That's a good stash of stuff. Now I'm going to rotate this, and I am going to cut the pink. The pink gingham is coming off. So we're gonna take that off, just right down. We're gonna separate the two, okay? We're gonna keep this as it is. This one here, we're going to get rid of this flap, okay? That flap's gonna go, we're not gonna use it. So just give it a little trim, okay? And we're going to make a score line. We're going to make a score line at 1/2 inch. Is it 1/2 inch or 1/4 inch? Let me look at my notes. I think I read 1/2 inch, but we're gonna make a score line down that entire side of the entire length of that piece of gingham here. Hold on, I'm just pulling up my PDF, but right now I have it blown up. I can't read anything. All right, so this is going to be 1/2 inch. Okay, yep, we're gonna make it 1/2 inch. So at 1/2 inch, not your cutting blade, but 1/2 inch, so along this whole long end here, we're going to make a score line, okay? Now, we've made that score line, and we're going to turn this, we're gonna rotate, and now we're gonna cut these pieces apart. So right in the score line, the horizontal score line, so I'm gonna cut these into the 4 pieces. So there's one piece, Here's the second. You want to keep these in order, folks. And okay, so and I'm going to keep them in order. Boom. Oops. This one actually goes here. Okay, so that is it for the cutting and scoring of this portion of the box. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is on each of these, don't worry about any of the score lines that were for creating the box and the carton that they have provided. We're going to completely not use those. We're going to try and disguise them. But the score line that we made that was across the bottom, we're going to fold that. We're going to fold that back. Okay, each one of those is going to fold back just like that. Don't forget, try to keep them in order. If you get them out of order, you just want to go where they've like scoring the carton. You just want to make sure that you've got every other one going. Okay. All right. So there's that. Now here, what we're going to do is we're going to fold on each of these score lines. Let's just give a good burnish. And we know I don't have my bone folder. So here comes the big scissors again. So let's just score on each of these. And this is just, we're basically scoring this so that we can form the box. Okay. And these are the score lines these are the original score lines. And so now I'm going to add some glue, and you could use tear and tape here if you want to use the tear and tape that's from the kit. I'm just going to use glue. I prefer green cap glue because I can come in here and like if I don't lay it down right, which I didn't, I can wiggle it around. That's the beauty of that green cap glue. And it sets up fast enough if you don't use too heavy. Okay. So there is our box. And now with each of these, we are going to glue these. And I know it seems kind of weird. And I made one with the flaps on the inside. And I made one with the flaps on the outside. And let me tell you, if you go on the inside, it's going to get tight and it's going to get kind of a little bit, it's going to catch on things. And so what you would have to do is trim everything. And you could do that if you wanted. But I was more successful. I liked the way it finished when I actually put my glue on the printed part of the gingham here and added it to the outside. I know that seems super strange, but that is what I did. And then we're going to cover that. We'll cover all of our mechanics, right? Okay. Yep. So that way the inside is tidy and clean, and then the outside's going to get a piece of ribbon. So that was my first, was the one laying here. It was that tab. Now I'm just going to rotate my box and pick up the second one. So the reason I'm keeping these in order is because I want the gingham plaid to match, you know, even though they're not right next to each other, I wanted it to carry through. Okay, so I'm just gluing these to the outside. Rotate, pick up that third one. And if you can keep these little pieces intact, great, the little holes. If not, not to worry. I'm going to detail that as well and tell you what I did and why I did it. Okay. There's that. Now the last one. And again, I'm gluing them to the front. Because when you put all four on the inside, the box doesn't, it starts to really get, it doesn't fold and it starts to buckle. And so this was just my way of making it still do that nicely without it going, you know, it was puckering. But I am going to fold that so that I can kind of burnish these a little bit. There you have it. So then what I want you to do, if you'd like, you don't have to, is I am picking the flaps here with the triangles that are folded on it. I'm going to use those as front and back, okay? So this is my front and this will be my back. So let's just go ahead and let's do something real simple here, and it will make it so that we can just kind of, you know, get going right away. And then once I have one of these on, then I'm oriented and I don't have to keep going, what did I do? What did I do? I am going to stamp this one with the Springtime Greetings and that Early Espresso little ink spot from the kit. Okay, maybe. They're convenient, the size, when they're small, if you're like taking your kit somewhere, but they are a little, these little ink spots. Okay, then this one is going to just hit right there. Okay, great. I'm going to put this on now so that it helps me know where my front and back is. It'll just keep us oriented. Okay, so, and this is just going to go right across those. And so what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to disguise some of these fold lines that are here. You're going to kind of ignore them and disguise them when you can, and they are what they are. You just kind of go with it. No one's going to know, right? Okay, so there's that one. That helps me to know where everything is going. The next thing I want to do is to do a little bit of decorating in here. And so I'm going to use I'm going to put some grass in here first, and I'm going to use this piece here, this cool frame. I'm going to do a little detail cut to it, and that is I'm going to cut it off right there. I'm going to follow right up and around this little piece of grass, and I'm just going to chop that for now, and I'm going to chop that for now just to make it easier. And so we'll just follow this blade of grass right there. Is that not the easiest fussy cut that we've done in a while? So that's my first little piece of grass. And this piece, I'm going to glue the front of it. I think I'm going to switch glues here in a second. It's going to glue right here in this front corner. I'm just going to add that. Holy moly. You know, when you haven't stamped in a little while, your fingers get what I feel like a little clumsy. So there's that piece right there. Let's trim this next one as well. We're not quite ready to glue this one in, but we'll get there pretty quick. So just trimming around this little blade of grass and then cutting down just like so. And then we'll just trim this one off right there. So set that aside, keep it handy. Okay, we're going to use it in just a second. We need to cut ourselves 2 pieces of white paper. And so these are basic white pieces of paper. Both are 2.5 inches tall, okay? One is 4 inches and one is 4.5. So let's talk about this first one. So this first piece here is 4 inches by 2.5, and I have scored it at 3/4, and I've scored it at 3 1/4. So let's just mock doing it. So it's 2.5 by 4, and I've scored it at 3/4, and then I moved it along to 3 1/4. So I have 2 score lines here, okay? So hopefully you got those measurements. And I believe Stampin' Up! Has uploaded the PDF, and so this is exactly what I wrote up in the PDF. This is how I did the one that I turned in. So there's that piece. Now we have a second piece that's a little bit longer. This one, let's just kind of rough it out here, is 2.5 by 4.5 this time. And I've scored each end at, there's 1 inch, and then I moved it all the way over to 3.5, and so that I have 1 inch tabs on each side, okay? All right, there's that. Let's give it a little burnish. It'll just help with the folding later on. Okay, so now what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna bring my box back in, and this one is going to slide right down. So this is the 1 inch, this is the longer one. So that's going to go in the back. And then this one, I'm going to actually turn it upside down. This one is going to go in the front, okay? So we're just going to glue those in place. Okay, so I'm going to take my tabs, fold them in. And this actually might be a good thing with tear and tape. I don't know. I'm going to go to my trusty tried and true green cap glue. And I'm going to set this down inside. My flaps are in, so I'm not getting glue everywhere. And now I can open that and just glue those right inside. So hopefully you can see how I just have those tabs. Okay, and this one's not quite in place, so I'll wiggle it into place. Burnish it down a little bit with my fingers. Okay. And so the great thing is it folds flat still, right? But it allows you to create dimension within the box and to decorate this so it's not all like up against the front or up against the back. Okay, we'll do this one as well. And we'll do it the same way. I'm going to fold it in. I'm going to insert this. And now I'm going to open up the flaps. And there you have it. Okay, so if you've never made a card in a box before, that right there, that's your mechanics to everything. Is just creating these inside little, you know, ledges or flaps or whatever you want to call them that give you a spot where you can start to create and design. Okay, so there's that. So far, so good, right? Let's go to this piece here. And so this piece is another one of these pieces of grass that we just fussy cut. Now I have a spot to glue it, so I'm just going to do a little glue right there. And it's going to go right here on this side. So we have one in front and one here. We're starting to create our depth to our little scene. Okay, just kind of wiggling that into place, let that set up. And let's grab some things that we're going to need going on. We're going to need one of the rabbits for our scene here. And for our rabbits here, I'm going to do just a little bit of glue on the bottom. I'm not going to do a ton. Okay, a little bit of glue. Now I'm going to shut the card. And let me show you where we're going to put this bunny first. It's going to go on this front flap that we added. Yes, Kayleen, I cut them from basic white cardstock. So this one is going to glue right on there, but I need to make sure that height-wise it doesn't go, you don't want it sticking out too high. It needs to be the same height as our flap there. Whoops, fell right off. And the reason being is because if it's sticking out beyond that, it won't fit, the envelope won't. If you're going to put it in an envelope, the envelope won't shut. It'll be too tall. So I see how that's sticking out. That would be a problem. So I need to wiggle it down just a little bit. Perfect. Okay, so just check it as you're doing it. Okay, that way. And I'm going to move it over just a skosh. Maybe. Sorry, I had to bring it kind of toward me to have a little bit more leverage on it. Okay, let me check it one more time. I think we should be, might be sticking out just a little too much. I think I just got, oh, I did, I got it. Okay, it's now where it's going to live. So you can see we've added grass and our bunny and our greeting. So the whole thing is when you're doing these is it needs to look cute when it's flat. And then if it's cute when it's flat, it's going to look great when it's open as well. Okay, so now this next piece we're going to use for this project, if you're going to do the whole thing with the envelope, the whole presentation, you're actually going to need 2 of these wreaths. If you're just doing the box in a card, then you'll just need 1. And so I'm going to grab one of these and I'm going to cut it apart. I'm going to cut this in half. And I'm going to kind of cut right at the the daisies here. And so I'm just going to do just a little bit right along this white daisy. And then I'll come up and around this little white daisy. And as you're doing that, what happens is you end up keeping the stem for this little, I don't know if this is hyacinth, you know. All right, so I'm just detailing that. Let's do the same thing on this side. We'll just kind of, this one's a little bit different, but I'm just gonna kind of come around that leaf, come in and around this little daisy, and there you have it. So we have these two pieces, and I'm just gonna kind of, you know, trim this up, make this clean too, and it probably won't even show, but, you know, if it does, at least you've tidied it up, right? Okay, so now these two, you can actually, you know, decorate your box however you'd like. You could do a whole ring around it. The whole thing, you know, having the bunnies in through the circle wreath here totally reminds me of the sugar eggs. I don't know if your mom made sugar eggs when you were a kid, but for Easter decorations, my mom made these sugar eggs, and they had like, you do them with sugar, and then you piped frosting to hold the two halves together, and then the inside had a cute scene. So this to me was me kind of remembering that as you know, as a kid. Okay, so the next thing I want to do is I'm going to take one of these pieces, and it doesn't matter which one, because they're pretty much the same. I'm going to put a dimensional on the very bottom of this flower. Now, you could separate your flowers at the hyacinth or at the daffodils, but just cut them in half is basically what I was aiming for there. So it looks like I need to do a little bit of, I need to make a smaller dimensional here so that it'll fit down here. So I've got that dimensional. And these two pieces for me, I had to do a little tweaking to get them just right so that it looked cute, but it also maintained the, and didn't fall out of, because this is our workspace here. It has to stay within these shapes here so that it fits in the envelope. And so this one, I'm going to glue this one with the dimensional there on this, the front of this back flap, if you know what I mean. So I'm just going to kind of add that one. I'm just going to kind of tuck it in space for right now. Make sure that things close. I'm going to bring it up just a little higher. Okay, we're good. Okay, we just want to make sure everything will fit in there, and then this opens. Now with this one, you can, I'm going to do it on the back side of the flap, and you can set it over, or maybe you want to do it, you know, you decide. Maybe you want to do it on that one. Whatever you do, you just kind of want to make sure that you're still going to fit within the parameters, okay? I might need to lower this one so that the back one has somewhere to go. So this is exactly what I did when I made each one before, is I kind of had to play with them. So I'm going to move this one a little lower. Okay, that's good. Now this one, I'm going to put the dimensional on the front because it's going to go in the back of the flap. Hopefully that made sense. If you're making one, you'll get why you do it that way. Because I'm trying to create more dimension. A little bit more, you know, so it's not all flat. So this one is going to just, I'm going to kind of change the angle on it just a little bit. Okay, so that one's way, it looks cute like that, but it's way, I can't get it in the envelope if I do it like that. Now, if you're not putting it in an envelope, you're set, you know, you can do it however you like, right? Because it's going to fit. Okay. Let me turn that just a little. Okay, so now we have some flowers that are in there. kind of backing our bunny. And you know, my original here, I think maybe I need to play with this one just a little bit more. And I'm going to rotate it. So it was this way. I'm going to rotate it like that just a little bit. And I lost my dimensional. I've lost them both. You get the idea. They're going in there. I won't fussy with them too much. But you get the idea of where I've put those. Maybe I'll just kind of get them tucked in space there. So they're kind of hanging out there. And then you're going to take and add your Easter grass. And I'm not going to do this because this is just a little bit, you know, it takes a little bit of doing. But as you just kind of add a little glue in places here and there. And just, I have Easter grass in, you know, I've glued a little Easter grass on each layer here. So I have a little bit on this layer, a little bit here on the front of the bunny, a little bit on this one, and a little bit in the back. And so that Easter grass is going to be the same stuff. You're just going to cut more of that and just add it in. So, and let me show you how I did. I'll do one so you can see what I did. Do you remember this frame that we cut apart? Here's what I did in order to do that. So you're not just gluing in midair. You're just going to take a piece like this, make it about a little narrower than the width of your box. Okay. And we're going to do, I think I'm going to do the tear and tape that it came with, because if we use glue, it's just going to stick. The glue will come right through the tissue paper. So let's use the tear and tape or stamp and seal. So it's a little bit, where is the end? There it is, under my thumb. It's a little bit wider than our little piece of paper here, but we're just using what's available to us rather than having to go and cut strips of paper, but it'll be fine. Okay, now we have that exposed tear and tape. Yeah, right, like I'm gonna get it off my fingers. Okay, so now take your tissue and get a good piece. And I actually did this with a couple pieces, but I would come in here and just kind of do loops of grass. And don't worry if it's not perfect, because you're gonna be trimming this, you're gonna scrunch it. But do you remember when we used to do ribbon frosting with, you'd put some tear and tape down and then you'd go back and forth with the ribbon? Well, it's kind of the same concept, only you don't have to be so, you just kind of put it on, make some, it's a little bit, it's not tedious, it's a little sticky, but you can see you're just going to kind of crinkle it and then come in with a second piece and just fill in where you missed. Okay. I hope you get the idea. It's the cute part. We'll just stick that there. Come back the other way. Come back that way. We'll fold this guy up. And the cool part is, if you haven't put, you know, tissue across that entire thing, which you don't need, you still have some sticky edges ready, and you can just like reach that in and add it to your little box there. So I'm just kind of doing a little quick trim here. Now this layer, it is still sticky, so I'm just going to reach it in and set it right inside. And the cool thing is, if you've kept it tidy, mine's a little bit wonky, but just because I'm trying to go fast. But that's what I did to set the grass in place. I'm just going to pull the pieces upward and then give them a little trim. Okay, here and there. And then if it's like in the wrong spot, you just, you know, if it's covering his face, just grab your fingers and grab that and either trim it or just give it a little, you know, Easter grass crinkle. Okay. And then you would do that, okay, go through, you've got more of this paper here, and just add your tear and tape and then do some Easter grass I'd do another one in front of the bunny, and then one on the front of this one, and maybe one on the front of the back flap there. So just have some fun adding that grass. That's how I did that. I'm not going to do that on all of them, or we'll be here forever. But I want to address two things to finish the box portion up, and that is all of these holes, right? And so here's what I did, is we're going to flip this over. And I know Sheila, when they were presenting the box the other day, she said, oh, there's glue dots there. I guess we're supposed to glue the flaps down. That was a great idea, but that wasn't my intention. My intention was to take the glue dots, and in case any of these had popped out, I'm going to put the little gems on the front, but in case they had popped out, I'm covering these up so that, and I'm using the white glue dots, not the ones that have the print on them. I'm covering these up, one, to hold these pieces in place. But if they weren't there, and I'm putting my little gems on, they actually didn't stick. They didn't, the gem didn't come through and stick on the other side. So on the two side flaps, I'm going to do the small little gems here. Okay. So the reason for the glue dots, hopefully that makes sense. The reason for those glue dots was so that these small gems had a place to go, for one, and so that it didn't stick through. Okay. So that was the only reason why I put those glue dots back there. I'm not going to pull the backing off. And again, as you look at your glue dots, don't use the ones that have the print on them. Find the ones that are the plain white. And there's some in there. Okay. So that was what I did. I'm even going to do these just in case they pop out, even though we have that greeting on there. I'm going to do them to hold them in place. Okay. And I'm going to do that all the way around the box. See how this one's missing? That little mini gem would just slip right through. The bigger one would stick, but then it would have a sticky spot, and I missed on this one. Shoot, Queen. Okay, well, we'll just pull that off. Okay, let's get this one on. So I'm going to try and hold that little pop out in place. Okay, there's that one. Let's get these two while we're here. Okay. Hopefully that made sense why I did it. All right, now for our gems. On the side here, we'll do the smalls to match the other side over here. We'll do smalls here. And so it's going to go right in there. Kind of wiggle that into place so you can see why I needed a surface there to stick these. Oh my goodness, the wind is blowing so hard right now. And I'm going to use large on the front here. Okay, these two are going to be large. So our box is almost done. I would do a little wink of Stella on the bunny, just the way we did on the first one, on the first card, just to, in those ears and on his nose. It's just too cute. Okay, so now I've addressed all of those holes. And on the front, I added a little bit more floral. I can see my flowers. I'm not quite at the right angles just yet, but I will fiddle with that afterwards. But I'm going to add a couple daffodils to the front of my card in a box. So I'm going to do a daffodil kind of right in here. And so as this is shut, it's just going to kind of balance this area. And then I'm going to do another one down, or maybe, did I do them this way? Anyhow, we're just going to do so that there's some decor on the front here, just a little bit. And I'm going to use a dimensional. Let's see, where did they go? Here they are. So they were way over here to my right. Now they're way over here to the left. I can kill my workspace pretty fast. So this one's going to go right there. Then I'm going to do another one over here to kind of counterbalance it. But I've added my dimensional first so that it doesn't hang over the edge, because my daffodil is going to hang over the edge. If I can find what I did with it. Oh, well, I've got another one. I'll just grab another one. I'll find that other one in a minute. Okay. So this is just going to kind of come like so. That way it's cute. So when it's popped open, you know, you've got some cool looks going on. It really does need more of that Easter grass, but I want to address this line here. And so all I did with this one, and I won't do it full out just because we don't need to be here forever, but there is a duo pack of ribbon in the annual catalog that has some Lucky Limeade, oh, wrong color, Lemon Lime Twist, and then some Petal Pink. And you could use either one of these. I'm going to use the Petal Pink, and I'm just going to start with a glue dot and work it all the way around. That's all it was. I didn't do anything fancy. I didn't tie a bow. I just kept it very, you know, sleek and in the back. And then I just folded it over in, you know, on the back side. So I've just added some ribbon all the way around. So it's just going to come all the way around. And I'll give myself a little extra so that I can fold it under and give it a nice tidy end. But I added that with glue dots. I don't want to, and I don't recommend doing tear and tape all the way around, because then it gets kind of stiff and it doesn't move. And your ribbon needs to be able to bend and move, right, as you open and shut the card. So I would recommend, you know, a glue dot in each section. That's what I did with this one. So you can see I've got a glue dot there and another one there. And so that it's moving freely. So anyhow, so you need to do that. And then let's talk about closing this shut, and we'll be done for today. And so I'm going to make for my here, let's just pretend, here's the one we've been working on. Let's just pretend we've done the ribbon and everything. So here's the other one. But what I did is I actually put it inside an envelope. So we're going to decorate the envelope quickly here, and then we're going to create a belly band and finish the belly band. Okay, so we need an envelope. We're going to use the Petal Pink envelope, obviously the one for the A2 card size, this one here. Okay, and we're going to stamp just this side. So I'm going to bring my scratch paper in, and I actually stamped this side with crumb cake. So I brought a crumb cake pad with me. Here's my crumb cake. And here's the image, the daffodils. And I'm just going to kind of start and just kind of fill in the space. Have some fun. But I'm going to reverse as I'm going here. So I'm going to fold this over. I've got ink on my hand. Shoot. Okay. So, because I don't want the stems to show on the front, that's why I'm folding it over. I want it to stay clean on this front side. So we're just going to kind of do some of this. Okay, come in. I'm going to hide my marks where I got mucky with my finger. There have to be fingerprints, right? It's handmade. So I'm just stamping the flap here, keeping it clean and simple with just some repetitive stamping with this pretty, pretty image. You could use the bunny, the chick. There's some cute pieces in this stamp set. Okay, so there's my envelope. Now for my belly band, the belly band is going to be the other portion of our envelope. So we have some envelope here, right? So we're just going to use some of that, and we're going to use one of the pieces here. I love this piece. This is super cute. So this is going to be a majority of our belly band, and then this right here. What I'm going to do, and it doesn't matter how wide your belly band is, I am going to make a straight edge here for one, and then we'll cut, how wide is this piece right here? we'll make it be 1 3/4. That's not quite the width, but it'll be fine. Don't worry about that score line. It's there, just disregard it. And what we're gonna do is take this piece, and I'm going to keep my trimmer nearby, but I'm gonna start, and I'm just going to kind of fold this in, okay? Then I'll do another little fold right around this side, okay? I am gonna trim this side off so it's even, because you don't see it, but you kind of see it. So this end, let's see, what do I have here? It's about a 1/2 inch, so I'll make this one about a 1/2 inch. Okay. Whoops, took the blade right out of the groove. Okay, so now I'm gonna put this, and I'm gonna put my card, my box in a card, inside the envelope. You'll want to do that because you want to make sure, because your envelope's going to have a little bulk to it. So when you put your belly band, when you create your belly band, if you create your belly band flat, it might be a little tight. So now I'm going to do just a little bit of glue here, and a little bit of glue here, and just like that, and kind of reach this around, and we'll start with one. And then we'll bring this other one and we'll grab it and just kind of, you know, you might have to wiggle it around just a little bit, but get it in place just like so. And this is going to finish pretty easy here. Okay, so we're going to add, whoops, stay glued. We're going to use another one of the wreaths. This is cute. Hello. Stampin' Up, they made this adorable little design here. This is the way the card is supposed to be with the frame, so we'll do that. I'm also going to use one of the purpley, pinky colored banners here, and that's gonna come on here like so. And we're gonna stamp Happy Easter on this. And so, you know, you decide if you want it up high, down low, where you actually want it. I'm trying to think where I put it in my original, and I don't have one because I ran out of pieces. So let's see. I did it this way. Okay, that is what I did. Okay, and we are gonna stamp Happy Easter. So, and then we're gonna tie a bow. And then I'll show you an added piece you can do if you want. But it's pretty straightforward. I don't think you need me to like actually do it, so. Okay, so Happy Easter's going right here. Cute. Let's get some dimensionals so we can put everything together. Sorry, I dropped it on the floor there. And this piece here, it's going to hang over the edge, and I am trying to kind of look at this and give myself, I'm intentionally putting a spot here. I kind of want that to land there. So I'm gonna just kind of flip this over and put my dimensionals on to where I know they're not gonna show. So don't do any on the sides. There. This project really kind of needs mini dimensionals, but I don't have any out right now. That'll do for now. I can balance it out in a minute with some minis. You'll get the idea. We'll just flip this right back over. Again, keeping one of these stems in this upper right corner. There's that. And then we'll do this one here. And that's just gonna go right across your little ducklings there. I'm actually gonna move it a little lower, right down into here. Okay, and you can put that on with dimensionals or however you want to do it. But I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to slip this dimensional. I know this seems kind of weird, but I'm going to put that inside there. That way this piece stays flat and I'm not fighting a dimensional. And then this one, maybe I'll just do a little glue underneath, like right here. There we go. And it could have dimensionals. It could be however you like, but there's that. And then, last but not least, a little tie of twine to make it cute, and some gems on this. And that will finish our belly band. Let's see. Here's my twine from the kit. And so, here's what I did, is I have a bow that's going to go right there. So you can actually reach this through and tie it around that specifically if you want. Or you can just tie a bow and, you know, glue dot it on, or you can glue it on, whatever you'd like. But I'm going to do a fairly, I kind of like a bigger bow for the outside of something. Okay, just tie that knot and then tie our loops. Okay. Cute, 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 cute. And then again, add some Wink of Stella where you like. If you like Wink of Stella, if you hate it, don't get it out. So there's my bow right there in the corner. And let's add some gems. We'll use the take your pick tool again. That's the easiest way, I think. So I'm just going to do, come on. It's the easiest way, and then I'm struggling with it. I'm going to do one right down in here, and then I'm going to do a couple up in here to kind of counterbalance that. They're going to kind of come up in here, and they could go maybe inside and outside. We can kind of come over here, but now they're straight in a row, so maybe I'm going to bring this one. So I'll bring it over here to this side to counterbalance. We'll tuck it right there. How's that? And then let's see, this one maybe, oh, the glue dot fell off of it. So maybe that one is going to go right there. Maybe. Don't you hate that when the glue dots come off? Okay, new one. You get the idea, folks. Put your little gems where you like to put them. So I am going to put this one, kind of right there. And maybe I'm going to bring this one inward. I don't know where it looks good. Maybe I'll do it over here. Ah, yeah, there it is. I like it there. Struggling, just putting on my stupid gems, right? But there you have it. And again, a little wink. Not sure where she went. Here she is. But, you know, just these little faces. Just give them a little sparkle. If you want to hit some of the flowers, you can. You could even come in, if you want, you'd have to do them all, or just some, is paint the daffodils even. It just depends on how much character you want to add to your little project there. You know, give it a little flick. Last thing, on my original, I did decorate this envelope as well, so that as the belly band was pulled off, it revealed another pretty layer. And these are just the dies you saw earlier. So I die cut from the envelope with the die, the Love of Spring dies. Then I did the daffodil. The daffodil I cut from Granny Apple and from Daffodil Delight. And I just cut the Daffodil Delight stem off and glued it on top. But the back, you know, there it is. You don't need to put another one on the back. I left this one blank. But there you have it. I just think it's kind of fun. So I will make the same treatment for this envelope here, so that when you take the belly band, when you slide the belly band off, you have this reveal. It's just a nice touch to add, you know, one more added little bit of prettiness, right? So that's what I did. That's the card in a box. I hope you enjoyed learning that, and the peek through flap card. So let's see here. Let's just bring it out. Here's the card in a box. There's the envelope. There's the belly band. And then we also did the peek through flap card. Let me make it peek through. Here we go. Right there. So if you have any questions, give a holler. I will gladly help you out. And let's meet again next Thursday on the right date for Upstyle Your Paper Pumpkin. We'll do some more with the pieces from this kit. We're going to get into using a little bit more of these stamped images, because look how cute this bunny and this chick, you know, how cute you can do these, stamp these and then color them and have some fun with them. So that will be next Thursday at 10 o'clock. I will see you then, folks. Bye-bye.